is the fourth life, Philbrick. The good life. A Sunday of puttering around the house, pruning the roses, dusting and spraying, making calluses on your hands instead of on your nervous system. It's the only life that makes the others worth living. Too bad it doesn't last.
Nice-looking hibiscus you've got there, comrade.
Yeah, they take a lot of care. Would you like to come in the house? Perhaps Eva can fix us something cool.
We're in a bind for time this afternoon.
Was there something you want from me?
You have a business analysis machine in your office, don't you?
Well, yes. Yes, we use it for statistical surveys of various advertising media.
We want to use it for a few hours this afternoon. You can let us in the office, can't you?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll take me a few minutes to change, though.
That's all right. I'll wait for you in the car.
There you are, gentlemen, our statistical department. Make yourselves comfortable.
Thank you, comrade. We will. I'm sure you can find something in your office to occupy you for an hour or so. We'll come for you when we're through in here. We haven't left anything out, you're certain?
There is an element of human error possible in this stage. Regardless of the care we exercise in collecting information, we can make a mistake. Although in this particular problem, I think the possibility is certainly remote.
It's all Chinese to me.
It's very simple, really. Communist Party projects A, B, C, D, etc. fail to materialize as they should, or fail, period. There seems to be no particular connection between these failures, yet there can be a connection, a common denominator that is so well concealed that the human mind continually misses it. If this common denominator exists, these machines will find it. Each one of these cards represents a comrade who had some connection with the project that failed.
That's the whole crop?
Right.
Which one will give us our common denominator?
This one. The name surprises you, comrade?
If it had come up one of ours, it would have been only slightly more ironic. Herbert A. Philbrick.
All finished? Find out what you wanted to know?
We think so. Thanks.
What is it, Herb?
Somebody at the door. Let's see who it is. Fulton, what?
I remember that you have a guest room, am I correct? I knew I was right. You wouldn't mind putting these two gentlemen up for a few days, Herb? Mr. Garrow, Mr. Walsh, this is Herb Philbrick.
Mr. Garrow.
I'm sure he'll make you quite comfortable while you're here.
Mr. Walsh. You'll find the guest room. It's the first door on the right at the top of the stairs.
That's all right, Herb. I told them.
You did.
Good night, Herb.
What was it, Herb?
It was Fulton.
This time of night? What did he want?
The use of our guest room.
What?
We have guests, darling. Two gentlemen named Walsh and Garrow.
Do you know them?
No?
But Herb...
Darling, there's nothing I can do about it. It's some party deal of Fulton's.
I understand that. I was just going to ask you about those men.
Well, I don't know anything about them. Nothing.
You saw them. Did they seem nice?
I'd hardly say that describes them, honey. Good night.
Herb,
What's the matter, honey?
those men.
What men? Oh, our house guests. What are their names? Garrow and Walsh? Hell, what'd they do?
Maybe I'm making something out of nothing.
No, that doesn't sound like you, honey. What happened?
I knocked on their door to tell them breakfast was ready. They told me they wouldn't be down.
Maybe they'll change their mind when they get a little hungrier.
They won't. I just brought their breakfast upstairs on a tray.
You... Why?
They told me to.
Well, we'll see about that.
Oh, Herb, no.
Look, darling, don't tell me you enjoy taking orders from those mugs, waiting on them.
No, Herb, I don't.
Well, then why shouldn't I straighten them out?
When I brought their breakfast upstairs, they had to open the door to take the tray. They wouldn't let me into the room.
That's polite of them. I suppose they didn't thank you either.
Oh, Herb, you can't say anything to them.
Why not?
The dresser mirror in that room, when the door is open, you can see it. I saw one of the men with his coat off. He's wearing a gun, Herb.
Oh, Herb?
Give me just one assurance and I'll be satisfied. Are Walsh and Garrow hiding out?
From the police? No. To the best of my knowledge, the police have no interest in them at all.
Well, that's comforting anyway.
Anything else, Herb?
Yeah, but you probably won't tell me this either. How long am I to expect them to remain my guests?
They won't be there a minute longer than they have to be, Herb.
Does that answer your question, Herb? Satisfy your curiosity? Garrow and Walsh are in your home because the Communist Party wants them there. And they'll stay as long as the party wants them to stay. You found out a lot from Comrade Fulton, didn't you, Philbrick? Hi, honey.
I just got back from the store. What happened, Herb?
I saw Fulton, but it was a waste of time. I'm sorry, honey, but I'm afraid we're stuck. You know their first commandment. The individual must bow to the will of the party.
He wouldn't even tell you why they were here?
Nope.
Herb, I'm worried.
Yeah, well, you're in very good company.
Something else happened here this morning after you left.
Yeah, what?
A man came to the door from the Secret Service.
Secret Service?
Said they were making a survey of the neighborhood, wanted to know who lived here. If there were any rumors or guests, if we were expecting any additions to the household within the next week.
You didn't tell them about Walsh and Garrow, did you?
I couldn't. How could I explain them? Two men the Communist Party billeted in our guest room.
Well, what'd you say?
I told them that there were just the two of us right now. The girls were away for the rest of the month.
Well, I'm glad I made a date with Steve Daniels. This is getting bigger than I am. I need an FBI opinion.
You look as though you're going fishing.
Strange as it may seem, I am going fishing. Except what I bring home, we won't be frying for dinner.
Too much body, Herb. It's all wrist action. Now, that's better. Now keep it up.
Thank you, Professor. Now, how are you doing on my other problems?
I can give you part of an answer, Herb.
Well, that's better than no answer at all.
Well, sometimes it isn't. However, for what it's worth, I can tell you why the Secret Service is canvassing your neighborhood.
They're not looking for Garrow and Walsh?
Antonio Prado arrives at noon tomorrow at the airport.
Prado? The South American big wheel? I've been reading about him in the paper.
Yes, and while he's in this country, he's a Secret Service responsibility.
Why is the Secret Service casing my neighborhood? He's not staying there, is he?
No, but your street parallels the highway from the airport. Just as an additional precaution, Prado is being driven downtown over a residential route.
And my front rooms look out over that route.
Be careful, Herb. I said I could only answer part of your question. When we start guessing, we're in trouble.
All right. I won't guess. But this much is fact. If we could get the Secret Service to change Senor Prado's route, we wouldn't have anything to worry about. Would we?
We've waited months for this test, but it's surefire. If Prado and his party do not follow that route, we know our traitor. Herbert A. Philbrick. I'll give him the word tomorrow morning. Plenty of time for him to pass it along.
And if Prado's route is changed?
We'll cancel Herb's party membership.
Glad you made it so fast.
Don't mention it. What's up?
I brought you up here to give you another fragmentary answer to your question about Garrow and Walsh. I passed the information along. There's been a lot of action, a lot of huddles. Make this as brief as possible, Herb. We smell a very large and moribund rat.
Anyone I know?
Start with the fact that Antonio Prado has been, if not a friend of Mother Russia, certainly not an enemy. His political reputation at home has been more apologist for the boys in the Kremlin. His assassination wouldn't accomplish much for the party.
No. But wait a minute. Would they have anything propaganda-wise if Prado were knocked off here in this hotbed of capitalism?
Now, that was considered, Herb, but the practical aspects knock it out. The world may suspect Uncle Sam of a lot of things, but even the commies know they can't sell Mr. Whiskers as a fool. We'd hardly invite a man to this country in order to assassinate him.
No. Well, that throws us right back to the big question. If Garrow and Walsh aren't in my house to shoot up Senor Prado and party, why are they acting like it?
They're there for your benefit, Herb.
My benefit?
Remember, you're the young man on the greased high wire. One false step and you've had it. This could be a trap that springs shut the second Prado's route from the airport is changed.
Yeah, I suppose that's possible.
It's more than possible. After I left you this morning, I did some thinking, too, and some checking. Has it occurred to you that you've been on the shelf, so to speak, as far as the party's concerned? No major assignments?
Yeah, it has.
Perhaps this isn't the strongest circumstance imaginable, but it could be indicative. Somebody's suspicious of you, Herb, but they had to wait for an opportunity like this to test you.
Sounds reasonable. But would it be worth gambling with Senor Prado's life?
No, Senor Prado is our first concern. If necessary, the route will be changed. If we have to block your street with an accident to make the change reasonable.
No. If I'm under suspicion, the comrades would never buy that.
You may be right.
So what do I do, Steve?
There's only one thing you can do, Herb. See what you can draw out of Comrade Fulton.
What if I can't get back to you?
If we don't hear from you, don't worry about it. The route will be changed.
Back again the same day?
I want to talk to you, comrade.
What's your problem?
Walsh and Garrow. I'm not against the party's desire to have them billeted at my house. That's fine. That's okay. But this morning, the Secret Service came around asking questions.
What did you tell him?
But that's not the point. The point is, if the Secret Service wants Walsh and Garrow, then...
I told you this afternoon that the boys aren't fugitives, didn't I?
Then why is the Secret Service canvassing my neighborhood? Now, look, all I want to know is what's my part in this job. I want to know the right answers. I want to know what to tell my wife to do. Surely we rate this much consideration from the party. Just tell us what's our job so we can do it.
You're probably right, Comrade Herb. I was planning to tell you this tomorrow morning, in any event. A few hours shouldn't matter. Garrow and Walsh are not communists. They're paid killers. Relax, comrade. Your name isn't in their contract.
Whose is?
A gentleman from South America arriving in our fair city at noon tomorrow and departing, we trust, shortly thereafter by express.
Antonio Prado.
You're right. You've probably been reading about him in the papers, I'm sure. We have information that his party will pass in front of your house on their way from the airport.
But I thought Prado was sympathetic to our cause.
Prado isn't all that he seems to be, Comrade Herb.
You're going to kill him right in front of my house?
There's nothing for you to worry about. The authorities will find you and Mrs. Philbrick securely tied and locked in your bedroom. You'll tell a convincing story about being held prisoner at gunpoint.
But to kill a man in cold blood?
There's no other way to do it, is there? Good night, Herb. Eva.
Night.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Just a minute, you two. Sit down over there. I want to talk to you. Sit down. Now, we don't want to make you people uncomfortable, but we've got to understand a few things. Fulton had no business telling you why we're here. Tomorrow would have been plenty of time.
It was my fault. I had to know.
Okay, so we live with it. One point we want understood. This is a job, and we're going to do it without interference. Understand? Good. Any questions?
All right, we let you do your job without interference. How do we know that killing us isn't part of that job?
We're not being paid to kill you, Mr. Philbrick. Do you mind making us some sandwiches? Go with it, Walsh. Sit down. Thanks. Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
You awake?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Keep an eye on him.
Good.
Thank you. Can I fix you something else?
You don't touch that phone, Philbrick. Even if Walsh walks in his sleep and hands it to you. If this is a trap, that's the bait.
Who's asleep? You idiot. Get off it and raise up those blinds. We don't want the neighbors to start wondering why their friends of Philbrick are keeping the shades drawn. Good clean shot from this window. You think you can stay awake long enough to watch this? Come on, you two, let's go. We've got things to do. That ought to do.
Finished?
Yeah.
Just been listening to the radio. Prado landed at the airport a few minutes ago. They're holding a reception out there, then leaving for City Hall. That's what the announcer said.
Okay, we'll be ready for him. Thanks for everything.
Herb.
Shh, honey, don't raise your voice.
What are we going to do?
Nothing.
Those men. We can't let them.
I didn't get a chance to tell you before. Steve Daniels was going to change Prado's route from the airport in case he didn't hear from me.
Oh, thank heaven.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe not.
What do you mean?
If Prado and his party don't come by this house, the boys are liable to think I had something to do with it. They might choose me as consolation prize.
Oh, Herb, no. What can we do?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. One thing you can do, Philbrick, lie here and listen to a $5 clock tick off the seconds, wondering if they're the last seconds of your life or the lives of some men you've never even met.
Herb, there wasn't any shooting. They're coming up the stairs. I heard them.
What happened? We didn't hear any shooting.
There was none to hear, comrade.
If Prado and his escort took a different route from the airport, what was that siren?
Prado's motorcycle escort. They went by here right on schedule.
Well, the party changed its mind, huh?
That's about the answer, Herb.
Well, I guess it worked out better for everybody this way, huh?
Yes, comrade, I think you might say that it did.
Oh, Herb.
So, comrade, even your brilliant machine can make a mistake.
The mistake had to be ours, comrade. The information we introduced into the machine must have been false.
Doesn't matter where the mistake is made, does it? We went to a lot of trouble to test Herb. About the only useful possible byproduct I can see is that we know comrades Garrow and Walsh are excellent at playing the roles of hired killers.
Hey, now you're getting that wrist action.
You know, I still don't know how you dared gamble with Senor Prado's life. It was at least a 50-50 chance that the commies were after bigger game than Philbrick.
Now, Senor Prado was well protected. He took the regular airport bus into the city.
Okay, then how about the driver of the car that went by my house and the passengers? Walsh and Garrow might have opened fire on them.
We were pretty sure you were the pigeon in this case, Herb. Besides, an FBI man expects to be shot at occasionally. Here, let an expert show you how this is done.
Sure, Philbrick, watch an expert. If you want to see how to put the hooks into the Communist Party, there's no teacher like the FBI. FBI, the communist plot to expose the work of a valuable counter-spy, became the instrument of making him a more trusted member of the party. Next week, another story from the files of a man who spent 9 fantastic years as a counter-spy for the Federal Bureau of Investigation.